Welcome to Marvel Rewind, a Marvel Champions Retrospective Series. In this series, I will be tasked with defeating every villain in order, progressing from the core set to the latest release. The catch? I'm only allowed to use cards released up until that point. After defeating the villain, they each will be ranked in terms of their difficulty, determined by the cards available at the time. Tune in every Tuesday for new episodes of Marvel Rewind. What's going on, guys? It's Char here, back with another episode of Marvel Rewind, a Marvel Champions Retrospective Series. After defeating all of Mojo Mania, we're finally on to the next evolution box, the X-Force members, even though they had a bit of an early entrance earlier. But besides that, we're on to the first scenario of the next evolution box, which has us taking on the Morlock Siege and all of these guys. Yeah, there's quite a lot of Marauders, and they will be back around for next week too. But we're taking on the Marauders in the Morlock Siege scenario with none other than Storm. Let's get down to the table. Usually I click these and see how it goes. Okay, so here we are down at the table. We've got Morlock Siege, we've got Storm. Let's go ahead and talk about it. So we're at the beginning here of the next evolution box. We got Morlock Siege here. So I think the whole kind of like basic plot of the next evolution box, something's going on with Hope Summers. They want to take her power or capture or something like that. But we start off in the Morlock Siege where there's just an attack going down. So let's talk about Morlock Siege, the encounter deck. So this is like kind of a multi-villain scenario in the way that like Brotherhood and whatnot is multi-villain. There's 7 villains to choose from, and one of them starts the game randomly on top. I'm not going to choose that just yet. Well, I'm going to go through and kind of explain the rest of what's going on here. So main scheme 1A, it puts an environment into play. There's a couple cards we set aside at the beginning, the Hide, Treachery, and these 4 Morlock allies. So we're just going to go ahead and set these guys aside for now. Because it says to do that as part of the setup here. So the Marauders have the Morlock Siege and standard encounter sets. And the 2 modular encounter sets recommended are military grade and a mutant slayers. So we have the Morlock Siege set here. We have our obligation as long with the standard and extra set. So we don't have the modular set. So give me 1 second while I fetch those. Okay, so usually out of the 2, I end up playing on the run more often than Morlock Siege, so that's probably why these modular sets were there. So yeah, here's military grade and mutant slayers, so these become part of the encounter deck. Really big encounter deck here. As a setup, we put the routed environment into play, then we set aside the High, Treachery, and all the Morlock allies, which we did already. And then we shuffle the villains together without looking to create the villain deck, and the top card of the deck is in play. So essentially what happens in this scenario is that these guys are going to come in here, all of the Marauders, essentially, and they're trying to kind of defeat the Morlocks. Eventually, I think after 3 turns, we get a couple Morlock allies on our side of the field that we have to actually protect from their attacks to defeat them, essentially. The routed environment on expert mode says cards under here are not in play. The villain gains retaliate 1 for each card under here as a forced response. After a villain is defeated, you place it underneath there. Discard each minion that shares a title with that top villain of the villain deck. That villain is in play. Then the villain activates against each player in player order. So they can actually get pretty nasty, get like a double activation once we defeat one of the villains. They don't give us an extra encounter card. I guess you could say the extra encounter card's like an assault or something. Usually these guys have pretty nasty effects when they attack and deal damage to you, or usually it's just like they get extra attack and stuff like that. So we are on a protection deck today. I thought it'd be pretty cool for Storm specifically to do that. So we'll have to see what happens. We're going to shuffle this up and we'll flip this over. We will randomize those villains here, but let's see what's on this side first. It has a force response, knock knock. After resolving step 1 of the villain phase, place 1 knock counter here. If there's at least 3 knock counters here, advance to stage 2A. It says our victory condition is if there's 3 villains underneath routed, the players win the game. So when this advances on its own, it goes to 2A, which is each player reveals 1 set aside Morlock ally, or 2 if we're in solo. Shuffle the Hide, Treachery into the deck, and then if this previous stage wasn't completed and it was completed through the knock counters instead, all of the Morlocks get tough statuses. And then what it says, action, exhaust the Morlock ally, shuffle Hide from the encounter deck, discard pile into the encounter deck. There's 3 villains under routed, players win. If the stage is completed or there are no Morlock allies, the players lose the game. And Morlock has a force interrupt all of these Morlock allies have a force interrupt that say when an enemy attacks you, it attacks them instead. So we do have to defend them. We have like kind of like 3 turns before they hit the board, and then after that is when we really have to get in there and start defending. Storm's a bit interesting. She's like a pseudo form changer here. She has this weather deck that starts into play yeah, right here it's her setup ability. Or no, she just begins the game with her weather deck C insert. I feel Storm coming setup. We can choose a support from the weather deck and put it into play. And then she has an action where she can swap the weather support in play with another one of our choice from the weather deck. Resolve the special ability on your weather support in play once per round. So we're gonna choose one of these to start with. I don't think it super matters. It's probably the one. We'll probably start with Blizzard, or I don't actually know, because I guess the setup happens after or before we drop our hand. I'm actually I always get confused on the wording. I think we'll probably just start with Blizzard. It's probably going to make the most sense, because then we can switch to any one of these cards and get a positive effect. But yeah, we have to shuffle our deck. We're on protection today, mostly because I feel like Storm can kind of do anything, it feels like, and protection kind of just does help us with this scenario specifically. So we're just going to go with that. So as normal, we're just going to shuffle up and then cut to our winning attempt here. I'm hoping it'll be a one and done here. I guess we need to set up their hit points really quickly. They should have, well, I guess it does matter which one we have. So yeah, we'll just go ahead and see which one we're going to start with here today. So we're shuffling, and I think I'm going to roll, yeah, we'll just shuffle, and then whatever this one is puts on top, and that's our villain. Okay, wow, it was Great Crow anyway. So he has 2 attack, 2 scheme, and 12 hit points. He has an ability: when he attacks you or an ally, you choose to either discard the highest cost card you control, or he gets plus X to this attack, where X is the printed cost of the highest cost card you control. Pretty nasty, pretty tough, but it should be interesting in terms of how we do this. So let's go ahead and get to the game. Okay, so here we are. Let's go ahead and adjust this a little bit. So we'll put Grey Crow up, just getting a little more space on the board here. That should be fine. Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and drop our cards here. So got 1, 2, 3, 4, wow, 5, oh my goodness, and 6. Well, there's a lot of things we want to play here. Can we even play it all? I think what we want to get down is... oh, man. So we said our setup, we're starting with Blizzard in play. So which one would we want to switch to? Move 2 threat from a scheme. That one doesn't really matter. Guess maybe Clear Skies. He's gonna hit us for like 5 though, which is really bad. Can't really stay. I mean, I guess we could stay down this turn. Yeah, we chose to start on Blizzard. If we go this, we want to get our cape down for sure. Yeah, I think we just have to do it what it is. Grey Crow's just kind of tough, but we got like all of our starting cards in our hand. Do we even I guess we mulligan some cards if we can find a double or something. Let's get rid of 3. It might make it easier. 1, 2, 3. Build support. Weather Goddess. Okay, the build support might actually be good. We can get the X-Jet into play. Then maybe we go... oh, sorry, I gotta put the weather deck. Oh man, I don't know where I'm gonna put this. I guess I'll put it here. Yeah, the build support's pretty interesting here. I think we could go 1 resource for that. And then if we change to this one, we can remove 2 threat from a scheme, and then we can go back to Blizzard. Get her ready. No, I think we want to get a card draw and then get it ready. We'll see what happens. Okay, let's start. We will spend 1 resource. Let's put build support into play. This is the advent of player side schemes, as you guys know. I don't know how I'm going to feel with them in these series, but they do make your decks very, very strong. I will say that much. We're gonna flip up here. No, I think we do have to go. Yeah, we do actually have to start by clearing this. Let's do a weather goddess. So let's do that first. We're gonna swap our weather support. So let's go ahead and put hurricane into play. So each character gains retaliate 1, and as a special, we resolve the special, remove 2 threat from his scheme. Then I think we'll just go ahead and thwart for 1. We'll clear off build support. It's gonna go in the victory display. Make search our deck and discard pile for a support with a cost of 3 or less, and put it into play. Let's just go ahead and grab the X-Jet here. It's going to be a really good start for us. So it comes in ready. Then what we want to do is... I'd love to... Let's use our ability here to change the weather. No, we have to get our cape down first. Oof, but that means we have to spend our crown. Maybe we just don't get the ready, keep the crown in hand. Or we keep our cape in hand, get the crown down. It's just tough. This cape gives us +1 defense, just super good here. We definitely need that down. I think what we do is we just change our form first. So let's go to clear skies here using our ability, and our special is to draw a card. So we got flash freeze. Blizzard is in play, resolve its special ability. So now we can spend 1, 2, 3 resources to get down Storm's cape. We have +1 defense, and we gain the aerial trait. After you resolve the special ability on our weather support, we can exhaust Storm to readier. I think that +1 defense is just going to be all we can do right now, so we'll just keep our crown in hand and then ready up. Just ready up here, drop 4 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. Blast of wind, torrential rain, and unflappable. Okay, so it's going to go up by 1. He's going to get a knock counter here. Then Greycrow's going to attack us. We have to choose to discard the highest cost card we control, or he gets +X for X the printed cost. We're just going to give him +X, so he's going to attack us for 5. We're going to go ahead and defend this here for 2, 5. Just 5 damage defending for 2, so we take 3 here down to 7. Encounter card. Back in action. Give the villain a tough status. Place threat on the main scheme equal to the number of villains up underneath rooted. So he's just going to get a tough status here. Okay. That's back to us. So this is pretty scary. I think what we want to do is we definitely want to start with our crown. So let's spend this double to get our crown down. So now we have 2 resource gens, and we have increases to both our stats here, which is pretty good. I kind of just want to run away and hide because of this just big attack stat coming for us. I'm trying to think what I should play here. Is there anything that's really good at helping us hide? Remove 2 threat, -1 attack, +1 attack. None of these really super matter. I guess what we could do is swap to the one that does the thwarting for us. So let's swap to using our ability once per turn. Let's swap to Hurricane. So each character has retaliate 1. We'll resolve the special just to thwart the main by 2. And then I think what we're going to do is... Oh, that's going to ready us. I think we're going to flip down and just heal, right? Yeah, I would say probably. We don't really have an action or anything. We have how much? 2 hurricanes in play. We can resolve the special ability. I think we're just going to get down and unflappable. Or maybe we just hold the unflappable. Let's spend X-Jet in our crown here and 1 resource for Blast of Wind. We will do... What was the one we were on previously? Clear Skies. Actually, before we swap to Hurricane, let's just say... Yeah, we did a Blast of Wind first because it didn't really change anything because we haven't used our activation. We would have resolved the ability here to draw a card. Then we would have used our once per turn, to swap to Hurricane. So Blast of Wind just deals 3 damage to an enemy and each minion. Just going to take the tough off of Greycrow here. Then we're just going to spend 1 resource to get our unflappable down. And then we're going to flip down and recover by 3 back up to 10. And we're just going to ready everything up. Hope he doesn't scheme out the main. 2, 3, 4. Oh gosh. 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we've got Colossus here. Got a Death Focus. It's a pretty good hand. Not bad, not bad. This is going to go up by 1. He's going to scheme for a base of 2 here. Just 2. So up to 3. Then not counter goes on. And then counter card. Back in action. Give the villain a tough status. Okay. So you just got another tough on him. Alright, that's back to us. So we probably want to try and defeat Grey Crow if that's possible here. How would we do that is the question. So everyone has Retaliate right now. We have a lot of things down. Let's see. Colossus could come in. Confusing him might also be cool, but I don't think we can do that right now. Let's see. 1 for a Death Focus. 1, 2, 3 for Colossus. Play down the Armored Vest, and then Weather Goddess a couple times. I mean, yeah, that could be pretty good. I think we will do that. So, let's flip up here. What's the one that deals... Is the one that gives us extra attack the one that deals damage? It is. So I think we're just going to have to start... Oof, but we have to break the tough first. No, I guess we have another form swap in hand, so... I don't think it really matters. Yeah, it doesn't really matter looking at this hand. Technically, we'd want to switch first, I guess. So let's go ahead and switch to a Thunderstorm. It's going to resolve the special ability on it to deal 2 damage. So that's not an attack, so you don't take the Retaliate. Oh, wait, there's no Retaliate anymore anyways. Oh, yeah, so then I guess this is the best play. I kind of stumbled into it. There's a lot of things going on with Storm, so, you know, apologies if it gets a bit crazy. We'll go 1 resource for the X-Jet. We're going to get down to Death Focus here. That should be really good for us just when we start getting these events. Just reduce them. We have a lot of cost reduction on the board right now. I think, like I said, I was going to use the Crown. We're going to get down an Armored Vest. So now we have 3 defense, which could just help us keep our HP up. We're probably going to have Colossus just swing multiple times, so probably not going to end up using him. Let's just go ahead and play these 3 resources. Play on Colossus. His cost is reduced by 1 because we have the X-Men trait. So Colossus in play is a tough. We're just going to have him swing here, break his tough. He's going to swing for 4 onto Grey Crow. 3, 4. It's going to bring him down to 8. Then what we're going to do is we're going to have Storm go ahead and attack Grey Crow for 3 here. 2, 3. Bring him down to 5. Then I think we're going to actually use our ability. We're going to use our once per phase ability. Or I think it's round to change. Should we change to Blizzard? -1 attack. I don't think Blizzard really matters. But the Retaliate might. So let's actually switch to Hurricane here. That's going to ready us up off of our cape. And we can remove 2 threat from his skin. This doesn't really matter because like 3 knock counters are going to get there and we're going to flip anyways. But we can just swing on him for 2 more, bring him down to 3. And I don't mind that. I think we're doing pretty well for ourselves here. So let's ready up. And I guess this is technically still, yeah, but let's ready up here and draw up. We have 5 cards to get here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Blast of Wind, Indomitable, Ever Vigilant. So, Force Response. After resolving step 1 in the villain phase, so we're going to so we're at a threat. Then we place 1 knock counter. If there's at least 3 knock counters, we're going to advance the stage to A. So we're going to go ahead and advance this here. It's going to go off to the side. 2A reads. Each player puts 1 set-aside Morlock ally into play under their control. 2 if they're playing single player instead. So we're going to get 2 Morlock allies here. 1 and 2. And then it says we shuffle the Hide Treachery into the encounter deck, which is right here. And then if the previous stage was advanced by knock counters, which it was, each Morlock gets a tough. So both of these guys are going to have a tough right here. 1, 2. Pretty cool. All right. So, I'm going to do that. Great Crow's so nasty because he makes us discard the highest cost card you control, so we're just going to have to keep giving him extra attack here. I mean, he will retaliate. The Morlocks will retaliate him, so I guess I technically don't have to block, which I guess probably I might as well. I think I might end up doing. Yeah. When an enemy attacks you, it attacks a Morlock you control instead. Okay. So that's shuffled up there. So this is going to go into play now. Is there anyone revealed here? There isn't. Starts with 0 threat. As an action, you can also Morlock ally to shuffle the hide treachery. Okay, so Great Crow is going to continue. So he's going to attack us. We're going to give him 5 attack. I don't think they have piercing, so I'm just going to let this Morlock take this hit. So 5, 6, 7, 8 damage into that tough. So nothing happens. And then we got an encounter card. Caught off guard. Discard an upgrade or support you control. Is it the +1 defense? I think the unflappable has better odds of hitting, so I will get rid of my armored vest here. And that's back to us. Okay, so that should be pretty good. Oh, he takes a retaliate because of the hurricane here, so bring him down to 2 health. Cool. So what we're gonna do first, I think how we're going to start this is we're going to instantly use my ability to switch the weather to the one that has extra attack. So I think we'll do that first. So go ahead and switch to Thunderstorm. So each character gets +1 attack. As a special, we deal 2 damage to an enemy. Let's deal 2 to Grey Crow here. So Grey Crow is going to be defeated. So it says villain gains retaliate. Ooh, I think I forgot about that actually. So retaliate should be 1 here. Oh, no, he didn't have any. Now he has retaliate. Okay, yeah. For each card under here. After the villain is defeated, put it under here. Discard each minion that shares a title with the top villain. So we have Blockbuster now. Then the villain activates against each player in player order. So Blockbuster has how much? 14 health as well. So not too bad. I guess Grey Crow only had 12, so he's a bit... I was just looking at if we were on the right side. I don't know what any of them really do, so I'm not going to play around. I think that's Arclight, but I don't know what she does, so we're not really going to play around that. So Blockbuster is going to come in. And he says, when Blockbuster attacks you or an ally, you can either give him a tough status, or he gets +2 attack for this attack, and it gains overkill. So I think what's going to happen is I'm going to give him the overkill and let him hit the other one with a tough. So that's 3, 4 damage into him. 6 damage into him. That's just going to break his tough. And let's just get to hitting him. So... they do have retaliate, so the Morlocks can actually, what's it called? Morlocks can actually take some damage here, but I don't think it's worth worrying about that. I think I'm just gonna have him attack anyways. So I think Colossus is gonna be completely defeated here, but he'll just swing for 4 on a Blockbuster, knock him down to 10. Yeah, he's gonna be defeated here. Do we have the Morlocks attack? They hit for 2 each. Sure, let's turn them both sideways. 1, 2, 3, 4. The Morlocks are fighting back. They're going to take a consequential and a retaliate. We can't have them attack anymore after this, essentially. Then what we're going to do is have us attack for 3. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to take a retaliate. What do we want to do now? We could do a Blast of Wind here, but we'd want a Weather Goddess first. So let's do a Weather Goddess first, so we can ready up. What do we want to do here? To the -1 attack? Probably, right? Let's do that one. Let's go to a -1 attack, and then let's just ready off of our cape. And then now, what we want to do is we want to do a Blast of Wind. So we're going to do our Death Focus, 2, 3 from the X-Jet. For a Blast of Wind, we're going to choose a player, deal 3 damage to the villain, and each minion engage. We're going to resolve a special. We don't have a special that really does anything, but we will deal 3. Gonna knock out Blockbuster, and that was dealing damage, not actually attacking, so we don't take the retaliate. So Blockbuster is already gonna be defeated. So what's gonna happen? It's gonna trigger again. So force response after the villain is defeated, put it under here. Discard each minion that shares a title Then the villain activates against each player, so Arclight's going to hit us. And she has an effect, either confuse the character you control at the highest thwart, or she gets +2 for this attack. So I think we'll just take the confuse here because we can get rid of it. So yeah, we'll take the confuse. And she's going to attack us, but we did ready off of our cape, so we'll just defend this because she's going to target one of the Morlock allies. So we're defending this with a base of 2, and she has a base of 1 attack because of Blizzard. It's going to be 1, 2, 3. And then how much defense do we have? Just 2. So we don't trigger the inflammable. We do end up taking a damage, but that's okay with me. Then we're going to use our last resource for Storm's Crown to play down an Indomitable, just so that we can ready up after defending in this next turn. That's going to be pretty good. I think we just keep the Ever Vigilant in hand, and we'll ready up here. How much does Arclight have? 13. Okay. Not bad. Cool. So we'll just draw up 4 more cards here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ever Vigilant. We got a Lightning Bolt, which is really good for us to close out this game coming up. Flash Freeze. When a villain attacks you, the villain needs to engage with you. Gets -3 attack. This phase of Blizzard's in play, resolve its special ability. I think we just play the Flash Freeze, right? I don't know. I don't know if it's actually worth playing, but maybe we can draw off the Unflappable. I mean, we did play it for a reason. This can go up by 1. So when Arclight attacks, you or an ally choose 1. She gets +2, or you can confuse a character you control with the highest thwart. So I think because we're confused, we have to give her the 2 attack. So she will be attacking with 4 here. We're going to go ahead and declare ourselves the defender, and let's do a Flash Freeze. So when the villain attacks you, the villain each turn gets -3 attack. So she has -1 from that. So she would have been a base of 1. She would have gotten 2 more up to 3, and this puts her back down to 0, basically. So it gets -3 attack, and we're defending for 2 here. So that's 2. She only did 2, so we take no damage. We get to trigger Unflappable, and I think I will trigger the Indomitable to ready us up. The Unflappable will draw us a card into Soaring Acrobatics. And now we have 1 encounter card here. In Midst of Chaos. Place 1 per player additional threat here for each villain under Routed. This comes in with 3 threat, plus 1 per player, so there's 2 villains under there. The villain gets Retaliate 1 for each card under here, so that's pretty scary. So Arclight has Retaliate 2, but I think we have enough health points to actually do this. So let's just do it. So what we're going to do is, I think we're going to start just hitting her for 2. 1, 2. We're going to take 2 Retaliates. 1, 2. Then what's going to happen is we're going to do, we're going to use our ability here to change to Thunderstorm. We're going to deal 2 damage to an enemy. This is not an attack, so we don't take a Retaliate. And then we're going to ready off of our cape. Then we're going to do, I think it's just a Lightning Bolt, and then that's the game. We'll do a Death Focus to reduce the cost, Storm's Crown, and then these 2 resources for a Lightning Bolt. We'll deal 8 damage to an enemy, and then if Thunderstorm is in play, resolve its special ability. So from 9 down to 1, so 8 damage to an enemy, we take 2 Retaliates, down to 4, and then we resolve the special on Thunderstorm, which is deal 2 damage to an enemy, down to 0. And wow, that is Storm. We kind of speed ran Morlock Siege there. Again, this isn't a very tough scenario, all things considered. But this was a really good showing on how powerful Storm is. The ability to manipulate this weather deck once a turn. I was able to do lower attack when they were attacking us. I was able to draw some cards, even get some retaliate value, clear skies to draw. But yeah, Thunderstorms is so broken, especially with these Morlock allies who came in and they just tapped for 2 damage each. We just rushed it down, and yeah, that's going to be the last one. And then we win because it says if there's 3 villains under Routed, the players win the game, and Vertigo would have been next. Super cool, super awesome. Even if Vertigo attacked us, we still had a defense from like the X-Gen Indomitable. Probably could have survived at least another round. Wow, that was awesome. Really cool. Usually it's not that swift, but let's get down to the table. Let's talk about Storm and check out the deck list. See you there. Okay, so here we are with Storm. Now, Storm is a hero that I actually haven't revisited recently, so this is my most recent revisit of Storm, other than, like, I think probably playing her pre-con. Storm is so much fun. I really love kind of, like, the sequencing puzzle you can do, like, trying to figure out the best way to change your forms, when to change form, what turn, what should you end your form in, or, like what weather should you... I keep calling them forms, but, like, which... weather support should you end turn in. Sometimes the best answer is Blizzard, but other times it's Hurricane, because Maybe you have like a couple ways of defending, so you can get a lot of retaliate damage on the villain. Other times it's just better to get that all-encompassing -1 attack to just help everyone at the table. I think she's very, very powerful. I think they represent her power set well. Not even talking about basically these free cards she gets in play that help her kind of do a little bit of everything. She has the Weather Goddess to be able to switch into forms that she wants to. That can either lead to her being 0 for 2 damage, 0 for 2 thwarting, blanking out a minion, or even drawing a card. She has her Crown, which is gives her an extra thwart while also being a resource generator, which is super good. You also have, her cape, which I think brings it all together, gives her a defense, gives her aerial, and also whenever you resolve the special ability on your weather support, you ready storm. Now that I'm reading this, I hope I played this correctly because I guess the weather support does resolve on Blizzard. Choose a non-enemy minion. No, maybe I did misplay that. Y'all let me know in the comment section. I think my margins were big enough that I'm just realizing it doesn't say when you swap your weather support. It says when you resolve the ability on it. So maybe there was some funny finagling I had to do. Maybe I wasn't playing her exactly correct. I'm literally just noticing that now. But that was my understanding of how it worked. But yeah, no, I think the Storm is really awesome and really cool. And let's just talk about the deck list besides that thing that's might be hanging on the back of my mind. Anyways, let's keep it going. So we're on Def Focus here, mostly because all her events are super power cards, so it's a really cheap way to discount all those X-Genes in here for a similar reason. I think she has like 8 or so 9 events in her deck. If we can get this down early, that's just a really easy way to just play multiple events. Soaring Acrobatics, this is from Angel, and we took Ever Vigilant from Angel as well, because I thought it'd just be a good fit here. We are in the X-Men wave. It's just like whenever an aerial character you control uses a basic power, you can exhaust it, and then you can add +1 power to that use once a turn. This is essentially a armored vest, or it's a combat training, or it's a surveillance. I forgot what that one's called. Surveillance expert. I'm blanking on the intelligence. I'm blanking on what the justice one is called that gives you +1 attack. Oh, heroic intuition. So yeah, it's essentially that once a turn, so you can buff any of them that you want. It can help you trigger your own flappables if you need that extra defense, and it's pretty cool. We're on X-Jet here as well, and the main reason why it's X-Jet and not Helicarrier is because, I don't know, it could be either, really. She doesn't really care about the resources she spends, so this could pretty easily be a Helicarrier, but I was like, why not just throw an X-Jet in here? Essentially, they're very similar, I'd say. Looking at our basic ally lineup, this ally lineup is kind of disgusting in solo specifically. Oh yeah, the reason it's X-Jet is because of Forge. Yeah, these are basically, if you're playing an X-Men character, these are the 5 allies you're going to be in basically every single one of your decks, unless you're doing Uncanny X-Men. Nick Fury doesn't have to be said. Mockingbird gives us some tempo against non-steady villains. Colossus comes in with a tough, but really he just does a ton of damage for a 3-cost ally. Professor X can give us a flip down. He does some thwarting that we need, and then Forge can fetch us the X-Jet and play it if we have nothing else to do. Extremely powerful ally basic lineup. Speaking of powerful basic lineup, I don't know where I'm going to fall on these 2 cards. In my own opinion, player side schemes are extremely powerful in every single player count, and I think they're outright broken in solo. I don't think these cards are even close to being balanced. They make your deck so consistent. And I guess against some of the harder villains, that consistency does put the balance back in your favor a little bit. These cards, they're just so easy to clear. 3 threat on basically every hero in the game is almost nothing, and the payoff for getting it is either like the X-Jet or a Helicarrier that will reduce your cost for the rest of the game, or the superpower training that will literally get you a copy of whatever key upgrade you need from your hero kit to make your hero work from turn 1. Extremely good. I wanted to play them because it's started the X-Force box. We have access to them now, and you saw that turn 1 how very strong it was. And we're on Energy Genius Strength as always, the 3 basic doubles. For our 2, technically we have 5 protection upgrades, but these are kind of like the permanent ones. We got Unflappable, classic card. Whenever you defend against an attack and take no damage, you can exhaust it to draw a card. And then we have an Armored Vest to just bump up our defense stat. The reason why we're on Protection is because I thought Storm was strong enough that our aspect didn't really matter, but also Protection makes sense because the Morlock Siege, you want to defend the Morlock, so thematically it makes sense. Also, I like having an even balance of the aspects represented in the series, and this felt like a really just good thematic fit, character fit, and everything for Protection. We're talking about Protection allies here. We're on Armor here. Play only if you have the X-Men trait. She comes with the Tough. Just get some extra activations. Really good if we're on Thunderstorm because she can swing literally 2 for 6 damage if you just swing with her every time. Iceman's pretty good in this scenario too. There's a lot of minions in the recommended modular set, so if you just have them in play sitting there dealing damage by turning sideways, after a minion enters play, you remove a freeze counter from him. He has 3, and you stun that minion, so he just gives you a bit of like a turn of respite. As long as you don't hit the gang up, you're pretty fine. And then we have Luke Cage here as one of my core box goats. I love this ally. Comes in with a tough 5 health. He just has so many activations. If I got him early with the Thunderstorm, he'd just be turning sideways for 3 damage every turn. Super, super good. Indomitable is one of my favorite protection cards in the entire game, and it's no shock he makes it into the deck list here. It's like a limitless stamina you can pay for ahead of time. It just really makes these awkward hands be like, well, this is something that's good. And it also works really well in this when the Morlocks come out, because they will attack them, you can defend for them, and then just ready back up. Finally, the last cards were on the events. Is Triple Ever Vigilant. Play only if your identity has the aerial trait, ready your hero, and remove 2 threat from the main scheme. Really good, especially if we want to just like ready up and deal more damage with Thunderstorm. Keeps the main in check without actually having to thwart, and lets us be really versatile with our activation. If we knock out one of them, or like maybe like we ready up and we have an ally knock out one of the villains and another one comes in, the ready could have us block with the Ever Vigilant. We can ready off the Indomitable again or our cape, whatnot. Really cool, really fun. Let me know what you guys think of Storm, and let's see where Morlock Siege kind of stacks up to the rest of the villains in this game. I'll see you there. Okay, back again as always. Now let's talk villains. So we are talking about Morlock Siege, the first scenario in the next evolution expansion box. I'm not gonna beat around the bush on this one, guys. This is an extremely easy scenario. I don't think there's any other if and or buts about it. I don't think there's any other way to put it. Morlock Siege is just not difficult. There's a number of reasons for why it's really hard for them to scheme out the main. If you don't let them scheme out the main, all the Morlocks that you get come in with Tufts. The Morlocks come in and it's like kind of a puzzle to like defend for them, and like you have to use your hero's basic activation to defend basically every turn. If they get an extra activation, it's kind of dicey, but also you only need one Morlock alive to survive. Like if one of them dies, it's not that big of a deal. So if one attack gets through, like you can still beat the scenario. The Marauders are a pretty interesting group of villains, and there's some tougher ones than others. I feel like we started with a really tough one with Grey Crow in terms of less like damage pressure put on. If you hit an assault on that first turn, I think we were literally dead. Unless we just discarded one of our upgrades, which we probably would have had to choose to do because of that. But they're just not difficult. There's really they don't have any tempo. They can get stun locked and locked down. You can just build against them. Even when they like flip, even on expert, getting retaliate 2 is kind of annoying, but also they don't have a lot of health. I think the highest one is like 14 per player. Maybe there's a 16 per player. I don't actually remember. So they don't have a lot of health, and like, okay, when you defeat one, you have a villain with Retaliate 1, which can be like kind of annoying. And then when you have a villain with Retaliate 2, like when it scales up to multiplayer, like sure, that could be pretty annoying. But in solo, like Retaliate 2, when they only have like 12 health, that's like 1 attack event for most heroes. It's just not difficult. I think it's kind of fun, and I like the idea behind it. And I'm not saying that every scenario in the game needs to be difficult or it's like bad or anything like that. It's not bad. It's just not hard at all. That being said, where would I put it? Do I think it's quite an absorbing man? I think that when you look at a scenario like what's it called, Risky Business, or you look at a scenario like Absorbing Man, or you look at a scenario like the Wrecking Crew, these are scenarios that have such huge flaws that it feels almost impossible to lose. If we were doing this in terms of impossible to lose, I think you could move Absorbing Man up above these two, because these two have such big design flaws and design things that you can take advantage of, that if you know what these flaws are, you literally cannot lose. You cannot lose to Norman Osborn if you just build against him and he never flips to the Green Goblin side, and then you just knock him out in 2 turns. You literally cannot lose that scenario. The same thing happens with the Wrecking Crew. They can't scheme out on you. They can scheme on you all they want. They can flip all of their side schemes or whatnot. You could stay alter ego almost the entire game against Wrecking Crew. You will not lose. Morlock Siege, you can't do that. They will defeat you in a normal way, either by defeating you. Like the Marauder minions are difficult enough where they can actually end up defeating you. And then like they can scheme out. Some of them have much lower scheme stats than the other ones do, so there's a bit of variability on that front. But it's just not hard. I don't think it's quite as easy as these. I think the D tier is going to be shown its worth for the first time in the series. I think this is the first D tier villain. I think all the ones in C are harder than this one. And I think all the ones in F are easier than this. And I think this is the perfect example of a scenario that I think I can place in D tier pretty handily. It's probably the top 5 easiest scenarios in the game, but it's not quite as easy as the ones that I'd put in the bottom 3. But let me know what you guys think. What do you think of Morlock Siege? What do you think of the thematic matchup? We got Storm dealing with the Morlocks, Callisto, and all that. What, you guys excited for next evolution and kind of the matchups that'll come from this box? So let me know what you're excited for, what you think of Morlock Siege, what you thought of the gameplay. Leave a like down below, subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you guys in the next video. See you next week as we go to take on the Run, which takes the Marauders and puts them in definitely a more difficult and I think more fun scenario. See you guys there. Take care of yourselves. Have a good one. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Take care of yourselves. Goodbye.